welcome again to Mission Alive. When I was growing up, I just had the one sister. There were just the two of us in the family. So my mother used to divide the jobs between us. She swept and I dusted. My sister mopped and I cleaned up something else. But the washing and the wiping up, they were our jobs, especially of a night time when we came home from school and had our evening meal. Mum cooked the meal, Dad sat down and read the paper after a day's work, and Jean and I were left to do the washing and the wiping up. So usually it was week about. She washed up this week, I wiped. Next week we changed over. But later on when she got older, I'm going to stop and start again because I didn't put the time. Hello and welcome again to Mission Alive. When I was growing up, I just had the one sister. So she and I usually divided the jobs in the house between us, or Mum did it for us. She did the mopping, I did the dusting. She did the sweeping, I threw out the rubbish. Whatever it was, we divided it week about. But with the washing and the wiping up of an evening meal, that was our job that we didn't get out of. Mum cooked the meal. Dad came home from work, sat down and read the paper. We all ate together, and then Jean and I cleared the table and did the washing up. So a week about, she washed up, I wiped up. I washed up, she wiped up. Until she got older and she wanted to preserve her lovely long fingernails and she didn't like putting them in the soapy water, so we made a bargain. I'd do the washing up, which I loved, and she'd do the wiping up. Now, in the Gospel, there are two sisters, Mary and Martha. A little bit like that. They didn't really divide the jobs, but that's what happened. Jesus came to Martha's house. It was Martha's house, an unusual thing for a woman to own a house in Jewish society in those times. Maybe she had a husband who died and left it to her, but Jesus came to the house of Martha, and she welcomed them. And then they sat down while she went to the kitchen and prepared something for them to eat. It might have just been biscuits and a cup of tea, or it might have been a proper meal. But whatever it was, Mary came in and just sat at the feet of Jesus and listened to what he said. So after a while, Martha came in rather annoyed, as I would have been with my sister if I was doing all the work. Jesus, don't you worry that my sister Mary is leaving me to do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. But Jesus said, no, Martha, you are so busy and so worried about so many things. Just one is necessary, and Mary has chosen the better part, and it's not going to be taken away from her. Now, I think that might have hurt Martha. Jesus had sort of put her down. He hadn't sided with her. He hadn't told Mary to come and help her. She was left alone, so she went back to the kitchen. But I think Martha really learned her lesson, because later on it tells us that there was another feast at Simon's house, a leper, and Martha was there doing the serving, so maybe she just didn't do the serving in her own house. And Mary wasn't helping her. Mary went and got a costly bottle of oil, broke it open and poured it on Jesus' head. And while others complained about wasting money, Martha didn't complain. She looked on and smiled and nodded. This was what her sister did. This was what Mary did best, loving and listening. And this is what I do best, Martha thought, serving people, loving them by serving. Nobody would be happy if they sat here and had nothing to eat. So I'm serving them. I am doing what I am meant to do. Each of us has our own special role. Each of us has our own special gifts. Each of us has our own special characteristics and talents. In one of his letters, Paul mentions all the talents we have. There are teachers, there are priests, there are lecturers, there are nurses, there are people who cure, people who heal, people who comfort, people who console, people who make us laugh. And there are people who serve. We all serve in some way. We have to find out what that way is. Mary's way of serving was just by listening. She would have something to tell others. she would have something to give others later on. Mary's role was assisting, was serving in a way when she poured that oil on Jesus' head. Let her do it, Jesus said. And the oil ran down his face and down his hair and down his back and into his clothes, and this perfume went all through the house. Everybody stopped and looked and listened, and they smelt the perfume. Martha stopped her serving too. Ah, that's Mary. That's Mary doing what she does best. And then Martha kept doing what she did best. She brought the food in, placed it on the table, and smiled and nodded at Jesus. Yes, Jesus, I'm doing quietly what I should be doing. Not worried about many things, but just serving you. You said, I did not come to be served, but to serve. So Jesus, I am following you. So this week, find out, how do you serve others? That's the way to live a happy life. Goodbye for now.